boy. Even more terrible news for DC Comics. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Sciver. This is astonishing. So, DC Comics, which is going through all kinds of changes after having been purchased by AT&T, shrinking down their line, firing 40% of their executive staff, is now being faced with ultimatums from local comic book stores that the direct market still services. Indeed, there's a Facebook message here that somebody sent me. They're from, look at this, Southern California. They sent me screenshots of this Facebook conversation. Pop Comics here. Pop Comics, I don't know if that's anyone's personal comic book store, but if it is, you're going to have to find a different way to get your Batman comics, because Pop Comics is fed up and they're not going to be taking it anymore. Pop Comics says, howdy, lots of things are going on here. Obviously, COVID has shut down a lot of these stores. They're now reopening, trying to get on their feet again, trying to figure things out. First up, big news today is a doozy. They say Pop Comics has decided that we will no longer be carrying DC Comics. That is unbelievable. DC Comics represents at least 33%. It is one full third of the comic book industry, of the comic book market. And for this comic book store to say, you know what, you've messed with us enough. We're not going to be supporting your comics. We're not going to be buying your comics anymore. We're not going to be jumping through hoops. And we are not going to be supporting this idea of, I mean, look, they're being distributed by another big comic book retailer now. One of the big comic book retailers is just Midtown Comics. They are distributing DC Comics books now, and so other retailers are being forced to deal with this enormous conflict of interest. As many of you are well aware, DC decided to cut ties with Diamond Comics earlier this year. Diamond Comics, of course, is the distributor, okay? They are the direct market, and they had a monopoly on the direct market. If you wanted to put your comic books in comic book stores, you had to go through Diamond. And Diamond, of course, was unable to cope with COVID and the shutdowns, and Diamond closed down for a little bit, which allowed DC Comics to wriggle out of their exclusive contract with Diamond and then just go rogue, which was part of probably what AT&T wanted them to do, considering that AT&T, I don't even think, wants to be publishing comics anymore at all. Okay, so what ensued was literally 6 months of chaos for comic book retailers. Non-stop chaos, they say. Non-stop. It never ended. There will be books about it someday. This person speculates that someday somebody will actually write a book or multiple books about the comic book industry. I sincerely doubt it. I really do. At least chapters within books about it. They're brilliant, self-interested. Wow, there's some anger in this. Solution was to make all U.S. comics retailers buy their comics through two of their largest competitors within the industry, and one of those is Midtown. Midtown has an enormous account with Diamond Comics, absolutely enormous, and they are they actually distribute comics as well. You can order from them, and they will send them to you. They've got a big, huge business in selling direct to customer, so they're able to distribute DC Comics. They definitely have the infrastructure, but what that makes other retailers do is actually have to go to another retailer to get DC Comics. He says, yeah, it's not ideal, but we ultimately caved and we chose one of these gigantic comics retailers. Well, now the one that we chose in the ultimatum has decided that DC Comics are not actually worth their time to distribute. Wow, so one of these distributors is closing down and not distributing DC Comics anymore, which once again puts all the retailers who ultimately acquiesced and participated in their, he's going to bust this word out here, janky. He's going to say janky plan, and chose that particular competitor distributor, are now being forced to the other competitor distributor. No other option. Use this new distributor or that you don't want to use, or don't carry our comics. And this store is saying, here's what we choose. We're out. We're not going to carry DC Comics anymore. We're not going to play these little games. The previous forced changes nearly doubled our DC Comics workload and costs just to put the same books on the stands. All right, so what does this mean to you? This week will be the last week that we'll have new DC Comics on our racks and in your pools. That means no Future State, none of these big events that you may or may not be waiting for. Future State looks like hot garbage, but maybe you're excited about it. I don't really know. We know that's a pain in the ass for many of you, and you have our sincere apologies. They are still going to be stocking trade paperbacks, hardcovers. That's good, because my Flash Rebirth, Ultimate Flash Rebirth, is supposed to be coming out in May. So they'll still be able to get that, stock it. It's going to be through a different distributor, and it's going to be cool. I hope you guys consider buying it. Maybe ordering a collected edition will work for you. If not, we totally get it. Okay. If DC at some point pulls their heads out of their rear ends, they're saying they use the word rump, but that sounds like rump roast to me. That sounds delicious. So I'm not going to say rump. I'll say rear end, and provides a viable way for us to once again rack their periodical products. We will be more than happy to review those options as they come available. And then this is what makes me think that this person listens to my channel. Though that assumes DC will even still be selling periodical comics by the end of 2021. Wink. No need to wink, Pop Comics. I don't think they will be either. I honestly think that at this point, DC Comics is on borrowed time, and none of this really matters to them. None of this really matters to AT&T. They're being told to tap dance until we pull the rug out from under you, and inevitably that is going to happen. There are a lot of faces over there that look like this right now, and you've actually got local retailers so angry that they're refusing to carry Justice League, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all of these books that DC Comics is known for, and that's a shame. That is a terrible shame. And here's another thing. I mean, this is all part of the same problem. DC Comics has cut the line to 34 titles. DC Comics used to publish 80 to 100 books. I used to get these comp boxes, they were called. I got one of everything for free every single month from DC Comics, and it was more than anyone could possibly read in a month. It was so much product, okay? They have cut the line to 34 titles in March. How do we know? Because it's December. Solicits happen 3 months ahead of time, which is another big problem with the direct market, right? Retailers are sitting there ordering product for March when they're not even sure how the books that they're being asked to order, the series that they're being asked to take a chance on, are selling in their store currently or next month. They have to take a guess. They have to project 3 months into the future. That's another big problem with the direct market. But in any case, DC Comics has been told to cut the fat, and that's what they're doing right now. This is absolutely insane. Look at this. Yikes! DC Comics is again cutting its line as it has become known as Matt McGloin. You gotta fix your prose. Let me try this again. DC Comics is again cutting its line as it has become known that as of March, only 34 single titles will be published. I got it. The news came with the release of DC Comics' March 2021 solicitations, which follows its Future State event in January and February, where it is learned that Aquaman has been canceled indefinitely. I mean, and let me tell you something. Aquaman is just one of the big superheroes that will no longer have his own comic book. I project that many, many more of these characters who are accustomed to having their own series will be canceled, and those characters will be presented in short stories in bigger comics with a marquee name on the front, like Batman or Justice League or Superman. You buy Superman, you're going to be able to get a Flash story in there. Although I can't imagine that Flash isn't selling. This enormous TV show. It's incredible. So we see that yet again, I like this part, former DC Comics artist Ethan Van Sciver, that's me, is right. As back in February of 2019, Van Sciver said, these are my predictions that all come true, DC Comics would be cutting its line even further following DC Comics laying off its staff. Is there a quote for me here? Oh, there is. Let me try to read it in my own voice. Well, here's another bit of news. DC Comics cut their line down to 52 comics. That was last year. Obviously, talent is going to get cut as well, as they are laying off 7 employees as of today. I'm sure more fat trimming will be coming. They probably just don't want a bloodbath. I used the word bloodbath back then. Bloodbath became the term du jour of the mainstream comic book media when DC Comics went through 2 phases of mass layoffs. It was called DC Bloodbath 1, DC Bloodbath 2. We reported on them here. We're going to see it all get whittled down. I was exactly right. And by the way, I was right in February before COVID was even really a thing. Of course, anybody could have predicted that once COVID actually hit and the government shutdown, the business shutdowns happen. Recently saw it suggested that AT&T, what, Matt, all right, AT&T may sell off DC Comics and license out the characters. Another prediction made by Ethan Van Sciver. Interesting. I didn't hear that. I didn't officially hear that that was something that they were really considering doing. I just thought that that seemed like the next step. Let's make money off of these characters in comics any way that we possibly can. So who wants to publish? Who wants to publish these characters? Pay us. Regarding the 34 titles, we also see Van Sciver is right. I love this. Van Sciver is right again. Boy, I'll tell you, I got to send this article to my mom. She'd be so proud of me. As it's basically only the popular characters from TV and movies. Yeah, so here we go. These are the titles. Infinite Frontier. I don't know what this is. Let's count the Batman titles. 1, 2, 3. Crime Syndicate, not really. Swamp Thing, Superman, Batman, 4, 5, 6. Let me see here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Jeez. 12, 13. All right, so it looks like 13 out of 34 titles. 13 out of 34 titles are Batman related. That is crazy. This is it, guys. This is all they're publishing now. Out of all the comics that they were publishing before, SJW's killed the Vertigo line, so we don't have the adult comics anymore so much. And this is sad. This is really deeply troubling. But it's going to get worse. DC Comics will whittle it down, I believe, to 12. How do you like them apples? My prediction right now in December is that DC Comics will eventually cut this line down to 12 comics a month, and that is inevitable at this point. Oh, look at this. Poor Joker. Sorry, pal. Hey, Joker, you're going to be one of the last ones to go because you're a really popular character. You and Batman, you guys are going to keep most of your titles through this. It's going to be pretty funny to watch. Thanks, everybody. If you have comments, what do you think about this? Let me know. I read all of your comments, and I take them to heart. Maybe add some of your thoughts to my own videos. I think I've stolen a few of your jokes now and then. What do you think of that? Let me know in the comments section below. And also, please like, share, subscribe to this channel. Push back against YouTube's incredibly hostile suppression of channels like mine. And I'll see you again soon with another video. Bye-bye.
Hey, I got a P.O. box. Want to send me some mail? Send it to Ethan Van Sciver, P.O. Box 607, Marlton, New Jersey, 08053. And I'll probably open it up on the live stream. Thanks very much, everyone. Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Are you sure? Well, if so, I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. That's at Ethan Van Sciver. See you there.